So, this is not what I expected to do today in terms of filming. But while I've got a few minutes just before I catch Michael, let me capture some thoughts. So, I'm in my favorite second city, which happens to be Birmingham, and I came up here for an AI Future of Social Work Summit yesterday, which was fantastic, which had a great lunch, great cake, great biscuits. But what I really ended up thinking about are a couple of things in relation to the future of social work. And one of those things is whether we need a centralized recording, tracking, communicating system. And I say that because I feel like, in terms of AI and everything about our practice, we are doing practice, but we're doing it in our own pockets across the country. And it looks like something similar is happening with AI. It's almost as though, from what I notice, adults have their pocket, which seems to be way ahead of the children's pocket. And that was reflected. I suppose yesterday's conference was led and convened by adult social care, really. But it was good to see some of the children's speakers there. And it just made me think that, yeah, we need a lot of regulations in terms of AI. We are thinking about all of those things, but we maybe need more spaces like yesterday to think about those things together. And it reminded me of some of the safeguarding practice reviews that have come out really recently, and where we had failures, and those failures were linked to kind of gaps in the system. So, for example, I think about Baby Y, where there was a perpetrator who had an extensive police record in one borough, but once he moved to a different borough, they didn't have that police history. And this kind of didn't, I won't say it allowed him to, but it created less of an obstacle when he went to live with this family and was pretending to be a doctor, and kind of the history was not known about him. And then the second bit it made me think about is, more recently, this protecting vulnerable babies safeguarding practice review, where the mom, unfortunately, was having children repeatedly removed. She and her partner stopped reporting the pregnancies and were moving from borough to borough. And once services got a hold of them and would kind of make decisions and try and work with them, they'd moved on already to the next borough. And I just thought, well, if we had a central notification system where, if police came across them, or transport, let's say they hopped on a tram or a bus without a ticket or with a ticket, or they were seen at a GP or hospital, could that also link in and alert social care, so that we're working maybe more smartly and more holistically with families when there's vulnerabilities related to crossing borders? And I don't know if this is the answer. It comes with pros and cons. I suppose some of the pros I've already named, but the cons would be like, if social care is no longer working with my family, would there still be alerts as to my whereabouts and my activities if I go to hospital, or if I'm involved with police for a minor infraction? Would all that history come up and then start to bias decisions about me and my family? So I don't know, but I think it kind of makes sense to get all the minds together in relation to AI, thinking about AI development and how we integrate into practice, getting everybody together to be kind of on the same page and thinking about a tool that people with lived experience, people who are practitioners, could start to build together and steer it in a way that's going to give us the tools that they most want to use and most kind of value in the everyday. I think that when that decision making voice for the practitioners is not there, we really run a risk of managers and those who are not necessarily still on the front line making those decisions and making the commissioning decisions without the really defined, detailed needs of workers and people with lived experience playing into that whole process. So that's some of the thoughts I came up with yesterday, listening to colleagues. I commend adults for everything that they're doing to work on the AI implementation so far, but also some of our children's local authorities are on top of it as well. I made some good connections yesterday, and it was a brilliant conference in a fantastic venue. So nothing but thanks to all the folks that put that together and the innovators that are out there trying a new thing, which may not be new for them, but people like Tarsem Singh, Gurnam Singh, excellent talks given yesterday. Also had a chance to pass by PIPSA and see what they're doing. And by the way, if you ever eat a Finnish lollipop that has licorice on the outside and you're somebody that likes licorice, don't be fooled. Make sure that you get rid of that lollipop before you get to the center, because in the center is a surprise that for me, it was too shocking and not in a good way. So yeah, there needs to be a better warning label on that. Anyway, that is me. It is definitely time for me to go see my Michael, so I'm gonna go see that now. But yeah, just sharing some thoughts. What do you think? Centralized working and centralized recording, communication, alert systems between health, police, social care, education, transport, or nah? What do you think? Later.